Shady fired the deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Bryson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22.
10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throwing as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver, you're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
Today, I'm joined by an entrepreneur and a man directly responsible for creating an unpadded, hard-hitting, smash-mouth brand of football the world has never seen before. Serving as the CEO of the American Sevens Football League, better known as the A7FL, Mr. Sener Korkusuz has joined us today. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing this morning?
My pleasure. Great to be here, Sam.
Hey, we really appreciate it. Like I told you off camera, we haven't really had an opportunity to cover the league too much, so definitely excited about this one for sure. So I wanted to jump right into it. I mean, obviously, you've got a background in business, having helped build and or grow several companies prior to your work with A7FL. If you don't mind, I wanted to ask about your background and how you've gotten to where we find you today in the business realm.
Sure. So I began in tech. I'm a programmer and developed my own software, online store system, tech company, ran it for many years, still own that company. And so when that became successful, I was looking for my next opportunity. And that's when I saw this amazing, style of football, a style that me and my friend played growing up. And he was starting to turn this into a recreational league, and that's why I got involved.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously something we've all done at some point. If you're a football fan, we've all played unpadded football, out in the street or in the backyard or whatever. So definitely something that always kind of appealed to me as soon as I saw it. And, at first, when I first saw the league, I'm like, how are people not getting injured? Especially with the hits that you see in this league, which we'll show in just a moment. But that was kind of one of the things that I wanted to ask you about. I mean, you look at the injury rate, and it seems that you actually have a fairly low injury rate, despite the fact that you guys aren't wearing pads. I mean, what do you think attributes to that?
And so you watch our game and you'll see it with your own eyes. We've also done a study with the New Jersey Institute of Technology on this for 2 years, which started to show that A7FL and taking off pads and helmets elevates head safety for our players. So bottom line is, when you take off the helmets, and there's been many studies on this, it's known as wrist homeostasis, meaning you're keeping your head out of the tackle. The most protected part of your body is what you're going to go into a collision with, and that means you're going to keep the head out of that by instinct. And much research has been done on that. You see, similar to rugby, when you take off the helmets, we also require wrap tackling when you're making a tackle. So all of these things combined, plus some other key rule changes in our league. When you watch the game, you see with your own eyes, our players don't hit their head on every single play, helmet to helmet, tapping repetitively over the course of a career in our style of football. And your big hits still happen. You still could have freak accidents. It is a physical sport, but we practically eliminate the head-to-head contact from that point of view.
It certainly seems like it. I mean, we're watching, one of the top 25 hits video from ClipShare on YouTube, and right now you can see a lot of it as these guys are hitting with their bodies, their shoulders. They're not necessarily driving with their heads, which, like you spoke about, is probably a big reason why you're avoiding a lot of the head injuries that you see in the padded game. Was the vision always to be unpadded from the very beginning? Was there ever any wavering on that?
No, that was the style that we played growing up. People all over the country have played no pads growing up. This is how you play football. This is how football was originally played. Now we made it 7-on-7. That's just very favorable for putting the game together. Also, for when we expand internationally, sevens is a very well-known format. So we stuck with sevens, no pads right off the bat. We had a few rule changes over the years. One of the most creative was the 3-on-1 special teams that we invented. So when you have 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 special teams running head to head, that's the most dangerous part of football. We made it into a 3-on-1 where there's 3 on the throwing side, 1 on the receiving. He'll either break it for an amazing play or there's going to be a big hit and a great defensive play. No kicking in our game, and a few other key rule changes that add to the safety, but also the fast-paced action and the excitement and entertainment aspect of our game. It's a viral machine.
100%. We'll definitely get to that as well. But was there any thought of going to 11-man football, or was it always going to be 7-7?
Always 7, yeah. So my partner, business partner, co-founder, Ryan DePaul, he started this league recreationally in New Jersey. It was called Town Beef at the time. I saw the potential for this thing to become a national and international sport. And I had the vision, hey, why can't this be an Olympic sport? Now you see flag becoming an Olympic sport. And many people will probably laugh when I say, and someday we're going to get A7FL to the Olympics. That's our goal.
I don't know why you would laugh at that, especially after seeing flag football in the Olympics. I mean, honestly, that just seems like a natural transition to me. So it wouldn't shock me at all to see you, eventually make that transition and, see this game go worldwide because like we said, this is something that everybody's played at some point if you played football. So it's just one of those things that to me, it's always kind of made sense. I never thought anybody would actually form a league like this to be given the fact that we're watching all these full contact padded leagues, kind of trying to dial back on the contact, dial back on the injuries. So to me, this is kind of innovative. I know you guys have been around for almost a decade now, and it's a thing that's kind of grown and really become a viral machine, like you said. But obviously, you guys had to start somewhere, and it's impressive that you stuck to your guns while everybody else was going the exact opposite way, per se.
Appreciate that. And we always figured, hey, somebody's going to do what we're doing, but it hasn't happened yet. So we're proud of how far we've come. You're right, going into our 10th season where every other spring football league has come and gone twice or 3 times over within the
You're muted at the moment. Give us just a second. I'm going to play a quick commercial. We'll come right back.
In a world full of fakes, how to avoid buying fake items that look just like the real thing? Are you getting faked over? Experts say it's all in the details.
All right. I believe we're back now. Can you hear me okay? Oh, we still can't hear you at the moment.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had a
No
call.
worries. That'll happen sometimes for sure. So I wanted to talk about your motto as a league, the game America wants. Who came up with the slogan, and what was immediately was that immediately the go-to phrase for the company, or was it something that kind of developed over time and kind of grew on you guys?
Our co-founder Ryan DePaul came up with that slogan. He is a truly creative, amazing visionary. He's able to bring and actually build communities. So the game America wants. This is what we created. We listened to the fans over the years. We're continue to do that as we move forward. Now we've started to expand and add ownership across the country. So this is the game America wants. The players have told us. Now we're expanding and putting A7FL in those markets where they want us to be. And eventually we'll expand that into the international side as well and get to the global A7FL championship.
Absolutely. So that actually brings me to my next question. I mean, how exactly does the ownership platform work? I mean, is it a situation where these owners specifically own a single team? Are they overseeing a whole division? How exactly does that all stack up for you guys?
So we've taken an innovative model here. We have multiple teams in each of our markets. We call it a division where we can have up to 8 teams. So you'll have 8 teams in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. They're able to either play within their region locally throughout the regular season, or in addition have interdivisional gameplay. But the point being is their travel is minimized through the regular season. And then as it gets into the postseason, there's travel along their conference or the coast into the national playoffs and national travel for the championship. And so that's the unique model when we're growing from the grassroots and with the vision of what the professional A7FL becomes. Right now, our athletes pay to play. There's prize money for our athletes, and we anticipate in the future our goal is for our athletes to be paid and making the kind of travels that you see in, for example, the NFL nationally week to week, and of course we'll be on cable TV when we get there. So that's all in the works.
Absolutely. Speaking of cable TV, you guys have worked with several different broadcast partners over the years. I'm curious which one's been the most successful for you, and kind of how that transition has all gone along as the years have gone by.
We've had a lot of great media partners over the years. They've been vital to our growth. But obviously, we did it first on our own. We went viral in 2017. On the heels of that, Facebook saw us and we did a deal with Facebook Watch. On the heels of that, Twitch saw us. We did a deal with Twitch. We did our championship on TV in 2017 with 11 Sports. Anthony Bailey, who ran 11 Sports at the time, became a member of our advisory board. I went out and I sought the biggest name in sports that I could find to help us, which was luckily I stumbled upon the co-founder of the UFC, David Isaacs, who became the chairman of our advisory board. So with their help and a number of others who joined us along the way, we were able to start to make inroads with those relationships. We have the content. It performs head and shoulders above any other emerging sport. It performs on par with most major league sports, if not above a handful of them or some of them as well. Baseball, not to mention. And our sport has incredible viral engagement. We have the younger audience, whereas the NFL is having the older audience. So we're football for the young generation. We are, fast-paced, action-packed, hard-hitting, big hits, nonstop in your face. And we're making the hometown heroes, the guys that we grew up playing with, the stars. And they are the stars. And so that's why they're now being seen on Sports Center and Bleacher Report and House of Highlights, who just shared us with when we had 20 million views in the last week on our viral highlights. And these guys are the reason why we're able to do that. These athletes, just like we played when we were young, these guys are playing for their passion, their heart, their love of the game, their brotherhood. More so than anything, every guy out there wants to win the championship, but the brotherhood is the biggest factor.
Absolutely. So you spoke earlier about a transition to eventually paying players. I'm curious the opportunities that they have now. I mean, is there anything against them having like an NIL deal or anything like that while playing in your league?
So we have total flexibility. We have absolute flexibility. We don't have such strict rules, and if we do in certain cases, we can go back and adjust them as we're moving forward. And so that's what we do. We work with all of our owners. Our owners work with their teams, with all of their players, and we all work together on the vision of what makes one market stronger makes another market stronger, and we all help each other. So while the players are the team on the field, we're the team behind the scenes, the ownership and the management, working just as hard to win our championship, and that's to get our game out there to the biggest audience possible.
Has there been any talk of partnering with a professional league to try and develop and put players at the professional level?
Yeah, there is, and there's a lot of interest in some of the other professional leagues bringing A7FL players to the table. So we're having those discussions. Some of our players are already making their way into these leagues. So now it's just a matter of formality before we make those relationships direct with the leagues. But XFL is one that we've had those discussions with, and there are up and coming leagues as well that we're having those discussions with.
I was gonna say we've done a lot of AFL coverage recently, and that feels like a good fit for you guys. Given the 7-on-7 kind of arena almost style play. But anyway, over the past 10 years, you guys have developed quite a following, and it's due to what we talked about before about the viral machine that this has really become. I mean, talk about your social media team for me a little bit. I mean, they have done an immense and just brilliant job of putting you out in front of everybody you could possibly be in front of. How have you guys gone about developing your strategy, and who is in charge of the media department, if you don't mind saying?
Yeah, so my business partner, Ryan DePaul, he's responsible for our most viral videos. When it was just me and him running the company early on, he's the reason why we started to go viral. So not only does he record the video, and he's responsible for a lot of that early sideline footage that you see, but he's producing our live games as well. So we've come a long way. We've worn a lot of hats. Over the years, we've taken a few of them off. But he's the vision behind our social media and what's made it so successful. Back to the product, though, it is the athletes, it is the sport. And without that, it wouldn't have happened.
100%. So one thing I kind of briefly breezed over, how are these rosters formed? Is it a situation where it's open tryouts in every different division?
It is, yeah. So there are tryouts. There's a fall tournament in each market. There are combines throughout the year. But basically, anybody can head on over to a7fl.com/players, get on the interest list. They can, once registration opens, register in the division that's nearest to them, and then the coaches will work from there to get them placed on a team.
Gotcha. And out of curiosity, what are the league dues for a player that wants to join the A7FL?
Yeah, very affordable, $150, including the uniform.
That's definitely affordable, especially compared to some of the outdoor semi-pro leagues that are out there for these players available. So before we get out of here today, is there anybody you want to shout out, or including any of your own companies for that matter?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to watch us and watch for the season start. So March 24th, 2024, we'll be back for season 10. A7FL, you'll catch us on all of the streaming platforms, caffeine.tv. We're also on DAZN internationally, beIN Sports. And we have a few new partnerships in the works. Sports TV is one of them. You'll put us on any connected TV. Make sure you follow us. Follow us on YouTube. We have probably the most exciting championship last season, and we're only going to build on that this season. New teams, new markets. Get to see Indianapolis for the first time, and a few major announcements. So tune in.
Absolutely. And speaking of major announcements, I wouldn't be doing this league justice if I didn't talk about the fact that very recently Mike Tomlin and I forget the player right off the top of my head, but there was some comments based on the fact that they wanted to bring a division to Pittsburgh. I mean, talk about how that must have felt to hear, one of the longest tenured head coaches in the NFL talking about your league on his podcast.
Yeah, it's really surreal. It's an honor. So to hear Coach Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger and Coach Mike saying, "Hey, just do me a favor. You have to tune in to A7FL. These guys are nuts. They're playing with no pads." And then to take it a step further and say and talk about, "Hey, why don't we go in and own a division together?" And that's exactly the opportunity of the A7FL. It's an affordable entry into sports ownership. Contact us. You can reach out on A7FL.com, email info@A7FL.com. You'll speak with me directly. Let's bring A7FL to your market. Coach Mike, let's bring it to Pittsburgh. I know it seems like a dream and people will laugh at us, but this is the reality. We can make it happen. And we'll do that, and we'll get those shoes to drop. So bottom line is, we're not a gimmick league. We don't need the celebrity. We don't need some gimmicky rules or a big show. It's the sport that speaks for itself. This is real football. This is hardcore. Every guy in the NFL who watches this knows, hey, I was just like these guys. There was 12 guys just like me. Only I made it to the NFL. Some of those guys were better than me. Where are they now? And this is the league for those guys who are still looking to play and looking to hit.
100%. I mean, I think you guys make a case to be, viewed as one of the better up and coming developmental leagues going forward. I mean, with the amount of views and amount of attention you're getting based off that social media interaction that you're finding, I honestly think that this platform is getting good. It's quite a bit bigger, honestly, than most of the indoor football leagues right now already. So, I mean, quite honestly, I don't think we're very far away from a day when we start seeing players consider playing in your league versus some of these indoor football leagues. But, that's coming from a hardcore indoor football fan. So it's kind of interesting to say out loud, but quite honestly, I mean, I definitely think you guys are gaining steam, and it's only going to get bigger from here. Obviously, we've heard about other celebrities, Snoop Dogg. I believe Mike Vick was mentioned at one point. Just you guys have had all kinds of groundswell of support. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie was playing in the league last year. So, I mean, it's been a situation where it's been very interesting to kind of follow along from an outsider's view and kind of see how you guys continue to progress and continue to bring in big names. So with that in mind, I mean,
and let me drop one.
Go ahead.
Let me drop one diamond for you before we leave.
Okay.
And imagine what we're gonna do next. Just imagine what we're gonna do next. And I'll just leave you with a little hint. Women's sports are very popular and only gaining steam and popularity.
100%.
Right?
100%.
What can we do there?
Lots. Honestly, there's some amazing women athletes out there, so I could definitely see something like that developing as well. Man, it very informative talk with you. One question I do have before we get out of here is, and what kind of cost does it really boil down to for somebody who does want to bring a division to their town or their city? Just for anybody who's curious out there.
So right now the cost of division ownership is $75,000. Okay. When we sold our first batch of ownership, that was 2 years ago, the cost was $50,000. So the cost will increase and continue to increase as we're building the league. building value for our division owners. Our division owners are generating revenues locally, but we're also having a national revenue share. So as the league continues gaining steam and building momentum and growing, everything works hand in hand. But right now, it's still very affordable, and it will continue to be for the foreseeable future as we work our way towards the professional A7FL.
I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, that definitely makes it very feasible for team owners to get involved. So, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate you lending us some insight on your league. I'm intrigued. I definitely am going to be watching going forward. I think you guys are revolutionizing football, and it's fun to see because honestly, like you said, there's been countless spring leagues, countless indoor leagues. You guys have done something that nobody else has done, and it's really starting to blow up, and it's awesome to see. So I wish you guys nothing but success. You know, any league that can give players opportunities is a good league to me, as far as I'm concerned. So I hope you guys just continue to grow and find everything that you want in the future.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate you. Great interview. With your perspective and seeing kind of where A7FL fits and where we're going, I think that was a great analysis. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime. For anybody who's watching this that wants to go support the A7FL, I know he already spoke about following them on the social media, but you can go to a7fl.com, check out the sponsors section, and you can also donate to their cause by purchasing some of their really great looking gear. I just checked it all out before we came on the interview. As you can see, the jersey he's wearing, very, very modern looking. I like the color schemes. They're all very in your face in a good way. Like they attract a lot of attention. So definitely go check out their merchandise, check out their league. They got some big things in the works, and I'm very excited for the future of this league because I honestly do think we will see these guys most likely in the Olympics someday, like you mentioned, because like I said, that's a natural progression in my eyes.
Let's work together this season, Sam. I'll follow up with you.
Sounds great. I would love that. For anybody who tuned in, thank you so much. We appreciate you viewing it. Hit the like button again. Check out the A7FL. Go support them, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.